Hey everyone, you know, it's really hard to find something unique in pickleball these days. Most people are doing cookie cutter paddles that are just like the others, and we're usually looking for something unique. And when I saw these paddles, I figured they were pretty unique and I wanted to test them out. Talking about the Ethos Pickleball Arete and Scoria. Stay tuned if you want to hear about these funky shaped paddles. Let's see if they perform. Here's the specs. First off, I want to thank you guys for using our code. That helps us keep the lights on, helps us to keep bringing you these great reviews. And also thank you Ethos Pickleball for sending us these paddles to demo and to do a review on so people can make informed decisions on it. I really appreciate that. First off, looking at these paddles, they've already been used by some pros and won at some APP events. Can this funky shape hold out? So let me just talk about a couple things that I noticed right off the bat is that these are really good weighted paddles. They are still thermoformed unibody, sealed edges, a foam around the edges, all of the kit and caboodles there, all of the T700 carbon fiber. So we got all that stuff. One thing I noticed right off the bat was the length of these handles. Check these handles out. These handles are 6.5 inches long, almost 7 inches of usable space here. This is the most comfortable two-handed backhanded I've ever hit, that it is so much room on these paddles. The other thing I noticed was these paddles have a really good shape. Really good feeling pronounced bevels. They're kind of more of blocky because they're 16 millimeter paddles. Very pronounced bevels, so you can really tell where your hand is at on these paddles. But let's just get right into the playing style and the playing ability of these paddles. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it feels like. Check this out.
Now, as I start playing these, I typically do not look at any statistics, nothing about the paddles. I want to compare them to each other and compare them to other paddles I've played. The Arete definitely is a softer with more spin, much more controllable. They're both control paddles, but definitely you can feel the power difference in the Scoria versus the Arete. And I was actually very impressed with the stability of the paddles. I thought that they would have a little bit a lower twist weight and kind of twist in your hands because they were smaller head with longer handles. Yes! Typically that's the case, but the Scoria definitely had a lot more pop to it and a little bit less spin just from performance wise. And you know, with the serves and the serve returns, really felt that both you can really get them back to the back third of the court pretty easily without losing the control or hitting it too far. So they're definitely control-oriented paddles. I would not put either one of them in the power category at all. But for me, the control paddles is where I lean anyway, and was able to really feel like the paddles could go where they needed to go and perform like they needed to perform on the serves and the serve returns. I was quite pleased with the performance. You know, I really found that with the smaller paddle heads, it was able to mask my shots a little bit more. And because they're a little bit smaller and a little longer handle, the whip you could get on those actually made up a little bit for the lack of power overall for the paddles. Then once again, the Scoria had a little bit more pop, but the Arete I found, you know, I didn't think there was so much of a thing that the wind resistance would make that big a difference, but I found that the Arete really, like that shot right there, I was able to really bury it or move it around a lot easier than the traditional shaped paddle heads, and really was able to mask my shots and kind of catch people off guard with the angles that I was hitting with this. But with the drives, you obviously have to put a lot more into it because they're more control oriented, and the swing weight does not feel that high, and they're also 16 millimeter paddles, so they're not power paddles, so you're going to be able to swing away and give it everything you got and not feel like you're going to block the ball out of the court when you're playing defensively. Really felt that the paddles performed well in that area for control paddles, and I didn't find the lack of power a problem at all because of the whip you could generate with the paddle head. Now, I give a slight advantage on touch to the Arete because it is definitely a softer paddle with more spin, so I found that it really was easy to get into the kitchen, get the drop shots going, get set up to get into the kitchen and get going in the offense and get into the dink battles. And resets were easy with both paddles. A little bit better with the Arete because of the control, but as you can see here, just really controllable and able to hit the soft shots, and really didn't find the paddle head much of a problem, and didn't find that there really wasn't a lack of sweet spot. It really felt like the whole paddle was a sweet spot on both models. They're really controllable, and these shots that I'm hitting here with it, just was able to dial these right in. Really felt comfortable from any kind of drops. Didn't really miss a whole lot with either one of the paddles, so I really felt like you could really put it right into my game and not have problems with it. As you can see here, just really able to move right into the kitchen and get into the offense that I like to play. So definitely give these guys a high passing grade on the drop shots and the control. Really, in my opinion, this is where the rubber meets the road. Can you dink with these paddles? How do they perform in the kitchen? And these paddles really passed with flying colors here. Both paddles really felt like you could just place the ball wherever you want and just reach out and put it wherever you want. So if you watch some of these dink battles, I was able to apply a lot of pressure because of the control and the spin on both of them. They weren't the highest spinning, but I was able to get setup shots like that and put the ball away and really put the ball on people's feet and control it. So high marks on both models here. And as we watch some of these dink battles, this is really simple to get into when you're used to control paddles, but the size of the heads and the shape of it, I thought would really be a problem, but I really didn't find I had any problems with the shape, and really felt the paddles were stable all the way out to the edge because of the foam injected walls. And with the Arete, with a little bit more spin, you can really hit cuts, you can hit top spin drive dinks, you can hit push dinks, and it felt like you could really just place the ball out where you wanted to and do whatever you wanted in the kitchen. So this is really how I grade paddles, and I really enjoyed both of these paddles in the dink game, and really won most of my dink battles when I was battling with these things. Really only missed a few of them because of footwork issues and other issues, and obviously other people play well too.
So I would have to give these guys a good grade. I really enjoyed playing them. Was very surprised that the twist weight was as high as it was. I kind of expected it to be more twisting in my hands, but definitely, as you heard in the video, the comparison between the two, this one has a little bit more pop, this one has a little bit more spin, but they both performed really well in all areas of the game. And honestly speaking, my hands were much faster at the net, I thought. I was able to really whip the paddles through. So overall, I give these guys a good grade. Price on these is $160. You also get a 20% pirate discount by using our code. But if you don't like these paddles and you want to try more of a traditional shaped paddle, check these out.